I'm Megan Powell from the Essex Bridge Center. This lesson is a review of the fundamentals with the 5-3 major suit fit. Now, I'll also talk a little bit about overcalls in the examples as they come up, but we're going to talk about the most basic pieces of the 5-3 fit. And in doing so, I'm going to add in one or two small extra pieces that you may or may not be familiar with. So let's get started. So as we begin this discussion, we're going to start where we always have to start when we're going back to the beginning, and that's with the opener's priority list. When we are the dealer, we get to speak first in the auction. Now let's just assume that we've looked at our hand as dealer and we've counted our high card points, and we have 12 to 20 high card points. That's a standard opening point count. We will open the bidding. Now, the very first thing on your opener's priority list is opening one of a major suit. And that means you're going to open one heart if you have 5 or more hearts, or you're going to open one spade if you have 5 or more spades. As we continue through the lessons that are coming up in this entire series, we will address what happens if you have 5 hearts and 5 spades. I'll tell you right now, you will open the spades first, right? And we'll talk more about the details of that as we go along. When you open one heart or one spade, you do not have to have honor cards in your long suit. It's more important that you have the 5 or more cards, any 5 cards. So that's your first choice when you make an opening bid, one of a major. What if you had the 12 to 20 high card points, but you did not have a 5 card major? What is the second choice on the opener's priority list? Well, the second choice on the opener's priority list is to open one no trump, but this is very specific. You do not have the 5 hearts or 5 spades. You are within 12 to 20 high card points, but you're in a very specific area of 12 to 20. You have 15, 16, 17 high card points, that specific. You also have a balanced distribution. You don't have any voids, you don't have any singletons, and while you might have a doubleton, you would have only one. And then you could open one no trump. Now, the third item on your opener's priority list is opening one of a minor suit, one club or one diamond. And that's because you don't have a 5 card heart suit or spade suit, and you don't meet the requirements to open one no trump, but you're still sitting with 12 to 20 points. You would open one heart, one club, or one diamond, and that could be as few as 3 cards in that minor suit. Now, your job is to choose the longer of the 2 minor suits. All right, if they have an uneven length, you open the longer one. If they are even length, you should open diamonds if your minor suits are 4 cards and 4 cards. You should open clubs if your minor suits are 3 cards and 3 cards. This will become a little more important as we continue through our learning. Your partner will almost always have 4 cards in the diamond suit when they open one diamond, and that becomes far more important as we learn to either count cards during the auction, or when we reach the play of the hand and we're trying to figure out how many diamonds does each person have. If your partner opens one diamonds, you will assume your partner has at least 4 of them. It's a helpful tool. Now, today, what we want to focus on is opening a major suit, opening one heart or one spade. Opener has 12 to 20 high card points and either 5 or more hearts or 5 or more spades. Now, the auction then becomes responder's job to figure out if there can be an 8-card major suit fit. If your partner opens one heart or one spade, then responder needs 3 or more cards in that same major suit to know there is that 8-card major suit fit. When we have 8 or more cards in a suit, we want to turn that suit into a trump suit. We will have more cards than the opponents will, and that trump suit will serve us well. So responder, if you do have 3 or more cards in partner's opening major suit, we've got that 8-card fit. And your job then, responder, is to show the fit, but also to show the point range in your responding hand. How many points can you offer opener in this 8-card fit? So responder, with a fit, your first job then is to add distribution. 1 point for doubleton, 2 points for a singleton, 3 points for a void. But now I'm going to introduce perhaps some new information about distribution. This may be information you didn't have before. Up to now, we have always added, 2 points for a doubleton, 1 point for a singleton. What we want to do now is to add a little nuance. Actually critically evaluate whether that distribution should be added. Now, we should still add a distribution point, 1 distribution point for doubletons, if our doubleton is an ace and a little card, or a king and a little card, or 2 little cards. Absolutely still add the 1 distribution point for that kind of doubleton. We should still add 2 distribution points for any singletons that look like this, an ace all by itself, an ace singleton, or a little card all by itself. That's all good. Where we want to add the nuance and perhaps be a little more conservative is now in a different viewpoint. Do not add distribution for other kinds of doubletons or singletons under certain conditions. So here are those conditions. Do not add a point for doubletons that are queen and a little card, jack and a little card, king jack, king queen, even though I don't have it on the screen, queen jack. You should not add, therefore, an extra point in those cases. You should not add 2 extra points for king singletons, queen singleton, jack singleton. Here's the problem. You're already giving each of these examples high card points, okay? And that's fine. 2 points for a queen, 1 point for a jack. But queens and jacks do not often win tricks. They might help a little bit, and occasionally they win a trick, but not often. And you're already giving a queen or a jack high card point value for a card that is unlikely to win any tricks. So we're already giving it some value, and we're not going to get a payback for it. If you then, in addition, give it distributional value because it's in a short holding, well, you're overvaluing that queen or that jack. You're giving it too many extra points for being the type of card that won't win a trick for you. And when you do that, you encourage a higher point count in your hand, which will encourage you to bid higher when you really don't have the values you need to take the extra tricks that you're going to bid higher to on the bidding ladder. Don't overvalue an underperforming suit. Don't overvalue jacks and queens. Give them the high card points, 2 points for a queen, 1 point for a jack. But if they are part of one of these kinds of distribution layouts that you see here on my screen, these kind of doubletons or these kind of singletons, do not then add extra distribution points in those cases, okay? Now, responder adds distribution with the known fit, and now responder is going to make a first responding bid. And up to this point in our bridge careers, we've talked about these 2 options for responder. 6 to 9 points, including any distribution. That's a minimum responder, and you raise to the 2 level, a minimum amount of a raise. If a responder had 10, 11, or 12 points to go along with openers 12 or more points, well, then responder has almost enough points to take the partnership to 25 points. So therefore, responder bids almost game level in the major suit, 3 hearts or 3 spades. We also call medium responders invitational responders. So 10 to 12 points you raise to the 3 level in your partner's opening major suit. And up to now in our bridge career, I've worked very hard to make sure that responder had these options, but not more than 12 points. Because now we're going to begin to introduce a concept. We won't cover it fully just yet. That's coming in the next couple of lessons. But I do want to introduce the concept of a responder holding 13 or more responding points and a fit for opener's major suit. I've worked very hard up to now that you did not have 13 points responder. Why? Well, think about it this way. I'm your partner and I've opened 1 heart. You know I have 12 to 20 high card points, but you don't know whether I'm 12 or whether I'm 20 high card points. True? If I have only the basic 12 high card points in my opening hand, and your responding hand has 13 points, we absolutely have 25 points, don't we? Yeah, we do. That's a game. However, it's not quite that simple. And so I'm going to have to talk about this in some detail to have us understand why a responder would not then jump to 4 hearts. You don't, responders. You instead bid a brand new suit. Sounds like it should not be the case, right? It sounds like responders should just jump to the 4 level. Well, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, and I'm going to talk about it that in a hand in this lesson a little bit. We're going to talk about it in more detail in a couple of lessons from now, where we have to go into it a little more fully. But what I will say in this lesson is responder has to hear more from an opener's 12 to 20 point hand to know what to do next. Yes, we have game going points if a responder has 13 points, but that might not be all we have, and we want to talk about that a little more fully. So I'm going to come back to this concept in a few minutes. What I would like to do is talk about a couple of examples where opener and responder find a fit in a major suit, and they make an appropriate bid back and forth to determine, do they have 25 points together for a game? That's what we're always looking for, is a game contract if we have 25 points together. So let's take a look at this hand on my screen. North is your dealer. How many high card points does North hold? Well, I count 12. Do you count 12? North also has a 5 card or longer heart suit. So what do you think North's opening bid here should be? I think North should open 1 heart. 12 to 20 points, 5 or more hearts. So far, so good. Now, South is our responder, and South has at least 3 heart cards to go with North's at least 5 heart cards. There is an 8-card heart fit. Now, let's start with South's high card points first. How many high card points does South have? Well, I count 8. 8 high card points. Now, South, before you make your first responding bid, because there's a fit, you may add distribution if you have any. Does South have any distribution to add? And I would say no. South does not have any singletons, doubletons, or voids. So South is still sitting with 8 total responding points. And now we have to figure out what South's first responding bid is. Well, with 6 to 9 minimum responding points, South's minimum responding bid is 2 hearts. It shows an absolute minimum amount of points in the responding hand and shows the heart fit. Okay, 6 to 9 total responding points, and that included any distribution. Now, the auction returns back to North's opening hand. What will North's opening hand bid next? So how does the opener decide what to do? What will opener bid after responder's first bid? Well, since there is a known fit now, not opener, this is after responder makes the first bid, that's when opener knows there is in fact a heart fit. And opener gets to add distribution the exact same way that a responder does. But again, opener must remember that new nuanced information, would not add extra distribution for queen doubletons or jack doubletons. If responder made a minimum raise with 6 to 9 points, then what opener needs to do is take a look at the opener responding ranges and continue bidding in the suit using the opener responding ranges with 12 to 15 total opening points, including distribution. The opener has to say to himself or herself, we can afford to be on the 2 level, 2 hearts or 2 spades. And if we're already there, the opener would not bid higher with only 12 to 15 total opening points. If responder has already taken us to 2 hearts or 2 spades, then with 12 to 15 opening points, the opener should not bid higher. And if you need a slightly different way to consider this, think about it this way. If responder has raised to 2 hearts to show 6 to 9 responding points, and the opener has 12 to 15 points, is there any way that the partnership can get to 25 game points? And I would say no, not even if responder has 9 points in the 6 to 9, and not even if opener has 15 points in the 12 to 15. There's no path to 25 points, and there is no point in bidding higher. You don't get extra credit, so don't make it harder. So an opener with 12 to 15 points opposite responder's minimum 6 to 9 point range would pass and stay at the 2 level. If the opener has 16 to 18 opening points, that's a medium or invitational opening point count. Invitation always means bid 1 level below game level. With 16 to 18 opening points, then opener is going to want to raise to the 3 level, 3 hearts or 3 spades. Here's another way you can think about it. If responder has made the minimum raise to 2 hearts, showing 6 to 9 points, and opener has 16 to 18 points, there's still a possibility that the partnership has 25 points. It's not a huge possibility, but it's a possibility, because if the responder has 9 points, 8 points in the responding 6 to 9, and opener has 17, 18 points, then the partnership could still find their way to 25 points. So therefore, the opener with 16 to 18 points needs to invite responder. Let responder decide whether to continue. With 16 to 18 opening points, opener would raise to 3 hearts or 3 spades. And if responder has raised to 2 hearts with 6 to 9 points, and opener has 19 or 20 or even more points, then there are 25 points right now, and the opener's second bid would be game in 4 hearts or 4 spades. Now, we use these opener ranges when responder made a minimum raise in the opening major suit, showing 6 to 9 minimum responding points. What if responder made a higher level responding bid? What if responder jumped to 3 hearts or 3 spades, inviting in the major suit? Well, then opener, what you have to do is add your opening points to responder's 10, 11, or 12 invitational points and decide whether to continue to go to game. So let's go back to this hand we were talking about. North has opened 1 heart. South, with 6 to 9 points, has raised 2 hearts. We return to North, the opener, This is the moment where North knows there's a fit. North may add any distribution that exists. Does North have any distribution to add? Yes. North may add one distribution point for the club doubleton. Notice that club doubleton are two what we call smallish cards. Neither one of those are cards that already have high card points added. So 1 point for the club doubleton, and North now has 13 total opening points. South's 2-heart bid showed 6 to 9. Should North continue bidding in hearts? And I would say the answer is no. There is no path to 25 points. North has 13 points. South has 6 to 9. And even if South has 9 points, there is no way to get to 25 points. So there is no point in bidding higher. Therefore, North's opening rebid should be pass. And we play in 2 hearts. Let's take a look at another hand now. Let's take a look at hand 2. North is still our dealer. Count North's high card points. I get 14. Do you get 14 high card points? Great. That's 12 to 20 points. North also has 5 or more cards in a major suit, hearts. What's North's opening bid? Well, I would say it's 1 heart. So far, so good? We move to South's responding hand. South, you have at least 3 heart cards to go with North's at least 5 heart cards. You have a fit. We know we're playing in a heart contract. How many high card points does South have? Well, I count 10 high card points. Great. South also may add distribution if he has any. Does South have any distribution to add? I would say yes. South may add 1 distribution point. Oh, it says the heart doubleton. It should say the spade doubleton. Excuse me. The spade doubleton in South, ace and a little card, perfectly acceptable to add distribution. So South's 10 high card points just became 11 total responding points. With 10, 11, or 12 responding points, what is South's first responding bid? I think it's a jump to 3 hearts. Okay? 3 hearts by South. Invitational. I have almost enough points for you, North opener, to go to 25 points. I just need to know if you have a little more than a bare 12 points in your 12 to 20. I have 10, 11, or 12 in my responding hand. North, you now know there's a heart fit and you get to add any distribution. Does North have any distribution to add? I would say yes, 1 distribution point for that club doubleton. Neither of those club cards already have any high card points associated with them. 1 point for the club doubleton, and North now has 15 total opening points. South is promising 10 to 12 when she jumped to 3 hearts. North, I think you know the partnership has 25 points and a fit. So what is North's opening rebid? If you know there are 25 points, you get to game. So far, so good. So those are the basics. Now, let's try a few responder hands and opener hands when we've talked about this brand new nuance for distribution. Remember, it's perfectly okay to add a 1 distribution point for an ace doubleton or a king doubleton or even 2 spot card doubleton. It's perfectly okay to add 2 distribution points for a singleton ace or a singleton spot card, low card. But do not add distribution for queen doubletons, jack doubletons, or king jacks, king queens, or even queen jacks. You're already giving it high card points for queens or jacks, and queens or jacks do not win tricks. Just like don't give anything extra for a king singleton, a queen singleton, or a jack singleton. They are unlikely to win a trick all by themselves. So don't give them extra value. So let's look at another hand that might have this kind of thinking in it. I'm going to go to board 12 in your packet. Board 10, excuse me. In board 10, North is our dealer. North has 12 to 20 high card points, has a 5 card or longer heart suit. North's opening bid is 1 heart. So far, so good. Now, let's also talk about opponents a little bit. East is the next player to bid. East is an opponent. The first thing an opponent looks for is something called a simple overcall. East would need 8 to 16 high card points to make a simple overcall on the 1 level, and East has 13 points. East would need a 5 card or longer suit to bid on the 1 level, and that suit should have at least 1 high honor in it, and East has 5 or more spade cards. Because East can still bid spades on the 1 level, East needs that 8 to 16 points and 5 or more spades. Since East meets that criteria, East really should make a simple overcall in 1 spade. And I will remind you that the most common reason you even make an overcall, opponents, is to tell your own partner across the table what your best suit is. You're telling your partner what suit to lead if your partner ever gets the opening lead. Okay? You're telling partner what suit to lead if partner ever gets the opening lead. Occasionally an overcall and a partner to the overcaller can win a contract, but usually it's just informational bidding. Now, the auction goes to South, the responder. South, you have 3 or more heart cards to go with North's 5 or more hearts. You know there's a heart fit right now. You started the auction with 12 invitational responding points. You do not have any distribution, South. You don't have any singletons, doubletons, or voids, but with 10, 11, or 12 invitational responding points, you should invite in your heart suit, South, and that should be a jump to 3 hearts. Notice that East's overcall did not impact your bidding. You were going to bid 3 hearts anyway. Now, the auction goes to West. West is the partner to East's overcalling hand. West is called the advancer. First thing the advancer looks for is a fit with East's overcall suit, and West, you don't have a fit. In fact, you have 0 high card points. In fact, West, what you have is something called a Yarborough. A Yarborough is when you have a 0-point hand that does not even have a 10 in it. And so, West, you have nothing you can offer. You're going to pass. You could remember that your partner bid spades if you ever win a trick, but with that particular hand, West, I think it's doubtful you're going to win many tricks, okay? Now, the auction then goes back to North, the opener. This is when North knows there's a heart fit. The minute that South bid 3 hearts, North said, a fit. And that's the moment that North can add distribution. Let's look at North's hand. North has a doubleton in clubs, but that's a queen doubleton, and we do not add distribution for queen doubletons. We are already counting 2 high card points for a queen. Queens do not often win tricks. Now, if you look at the club suit in North's hand and in South's hand, you actually can see that North's queen of clubs could win a trick if clubs are played in the correct order. But quite a lot of the time, that simply won't be true. That queen that you're already giving 2 high card points to would not win a trick, would not be part of a whole winning process, would lose, and you would have already given it 2 points to be a high card value. So if you also give it distribution, it might be too much value for this queen doubleton. So we don't overvalue queen doubletons by adding distribution. We might push the auction too high because we would be thinking we had more points than we really had. So now, North, don't add distribution. What will you do? Well, I think you're going to use math. How so? Well, you have 15 total opening points, North, right? That's what you started with. That's what you have. South has promised you 10 to 12 points. Use math. Anytime your responder bids higher than a minimum, you have to add your opening points to responders' implied responding points. And I think we get to 25 points. And North, you're the one who knows it right now. So you should bid 4 hearts right now. And that gets us to our heart game. And North is going to play in 4 hearts. So far, so good. So that was an example where we did not use a queen doubleton to add extra distribution. Let's take a look at another hand. This is hand 11 in your packet. North is the dealer. North has 15 high card points. So that's 12 to 20. North also has a 5 card or longer major suit. So what's North's opening bid? Because I think it's 1 heart. So far, so good. Let's look at East's hand. East, you have 4 lousy high card points. You in no way, shape, or form have an overcall hand. East will pass. And now we come to South. South has 3 heart cards as responder, a fit. South has 7 high card points and look to see if there's any appropriate distribution. But no, South, you don't have anything extra because you don't add distribution for Jack doubletons. So therefore, South, you still have just 7 high card points. And that falls in the 6 to 9 minimum responding points. Therefore, you should raise a minimum, South, to 2 hearts. The auction then goes to West. West is an opponent. And you still have a chance to bid West, even though East passed. You still have an opportunity to make what's called a simple overcall. But now you would have to overcall on the 2 level. West, the auction is already at 2 hearts. So West, you look at your hand. You would need 10 to 16 high card points for a 2 level simple overcall, and you have 14 points, West. You would still need a 5 card or longer suit with at least 1 high honor. And West, I see that you have 5 spade cards with at least 1 high honor. If I were West, I would absolutely make a simple overcall. It happens to be on the 2 level, but you have the point count, 10 to 16, to do that. 2 spades by West. And again, the primary reason West is doing this is to tell East what suit West likes the best, what suit West is going to perhaps get some winners in. All right. Now, the auction then moves back to North's opening hand. North, you know there's a heart fit, so don't even think about West's overcall. You're going to do your own thing, North. You know there's a heart fit, and you look at your hand to see if you can add distribution, North. I see 2 suits that are doubletons. I can add 1 distribution point for the club doubleton because the clubs in North have no high card points already associated with the club suit. Neither one of those cards received high card points. I would not add anything for the diamond doubleton. You've already given it 2 high card points to be the queen. And in fact, if you look at South's diamond suit and you don't own the ace anywhere north-south, that queen is not likely to win a trick at all. Okay? So you're already giving it 2 points to be a queen. Don't give it extra as a doubleton. It's not worth it. That queen is probably not winning a trick. But you can give yourself 1 distribution point for the club doubleton. And now your 15 high card points just became 16 points, North. For the opener, 16, 17, 18 is the medium or invitational opening range. Now, South is promising you 6 to 9. Is it still possible for the partnership to find 25 points together? I think it is, because you don't know whether South has 6 points, 7 points, 8 points, or 9 responding points. But if you have 16 points, you could still get to 25 points depending on South's points. With 16, 17, 18 opening points, opposite 6 to 9 in responder, you should invite. Because if responder has 9 points to go with your 16, you've got 25 points. So North, how about you invite in hearts? What's the invitational level? 3 hearts. Now, East is going to pass. And we come back to South's responding hand. You have been invited, South. When a responder has been invited, responder is going to base the decision on the point range. South, you have 6 to 9 points. If you had 6 or 7 points, you're going to have too few points to help the partnership get to 25 points. If you have 9 points, or honestly, I even use 8 points, then you can usually help partner enough to get to game. So, South, you have 7 points. If I were you, with your 7 points, I think I would pass 3 hearts. Okay? I do not think I would continue to game with only 7 points. Does that make sense? South is passing. So we will play this in 3 hearts by North. All right? Now, we've talked about how a responder bids with a fit with opener's major suit. We've discussed the nuances in the new responding range. The final thing we want to discuss is just an introduction to the concept of a responder holding 13 game-going responding points, enough for 25 points, but not immediately jumping to 4 hearts or 4 spades, and instead bidding a new suit. Why? Well, it would help us to just do a little bit of explanation of groundwork here. We know already how much we love game contracts, especially in major suits. The major suit game level is the 4 level, 4 hearts or 4 spades. We need at least 25 points between us. We need an 8-card major suit fit, right? And we know that. We search for game all the time. Do we ever bid something higher than game level? And the answer is yes. There is something in bridge called slam. And a slam contract is a contract on either the 6 level or the 7 level. You actually bid up the bidding ladder all the way to the 6 level or even the 7 level. Now, most of the time we're talking about the 6 level. The 6 level is called a small slam. The 7 level is called a grand slam, and we don't do it that often. A small slam is when you actually bid all the way up to the 6 level. And if you bid up to the 6 level, that means you have to take 12 out of 13 tricks. You can only lose 1 trick. You need an 8-card, let's say, major suit fit, if we're talking about the hearts that we've been talking about. But our partnership doesn't need 25 points. We need more like 33 points together to know we would be able to take 12 out of 13 tricks. And that would be a small slam on the 6th level. Now, a grand slam is when you bid all the way to the 7 level. You have to take all 13 tricks. You need more like 38 points together. It's hard, and we don't talk about it for a while yet. We will talk about small slams sooner than we will talk about grand slams, and that's where I want to focus the concept right now. Why, though? Why would we even bother? Why wouldn't we just bid game and be happy that we took 12 tricks? Well, I sound like a broken record, but scoring matters. You want to beat the pants off of everybody else who's playing the same board you're playing. And slam scoring is better than game scoring. If you were in 4 hearts and you took 12 tricks, 4 hearts making 6, you might make 480 positive scoring points. If you were not vulnerable, you would make 680 positive scoring points if you were vulnerable. But if you were actually brave enough, because you had the right criteria, meaning you had probably 33 or more points in your partnership, if you were brave enough to bid on the 6th level and make 6, taking 12 tricks, well, now the reward in scoring is even greater. You would make 980 points if you were non-vulnerable. You would make 1,430 points if you were vulnerable. And your job is to find and bid the best contract that you can, and then make the most tricks. Because remember, when you're playing board 1, there are other people, even when we play in Shark together, who are playing board 1. And if you're sitting north-south looking at this lovely hand, Those other players at the other tables are sitting north-south, looking at the same lovely hand. And your job is to bid better and play better than those other north-souths in order for you to come out ahead, for you to have 100% on that board. So we not only want to think about game bidding, we want to think about slam bidding. But we're not going to go into the details about slam just yet. All right? It's important that you know that that possibility exists. We're not going to study the requirements just yet. But here's the thing. We don't learn bridge in a strictly linear way. We can't. It's such a complicated game that we cannot go, first we'll do A, then we'll do B, then we'll do C, because sometimes D rears its ugly heads along the way. So we're going to begin to study a little bit of information, even if we don't have a complete place to put it in our heads yet. We've talked about the idea that if a responder has a fit, for openers, let's say one heart opening, and responder has 3 or more heart cards. If responder has 6 to 9 points, they raise to 2 hearts or 2 spades. If responder has 10 to 12 invitational points, they raise to 3 hearts or 3 spades. But if responder has 13 points, that's already 25 points game. Our instinct would be to jump to 4 hearts or 4 spades because we have 13 points. Here's where that nonlinear concept comes in. When opener and responder, in fact, have most of the points on a hand, what if they had more than 25 points? What if they really had over 30 points together, opener and responder? The opponents just wouldn't have many points at all, would they? Well, when opener and responder really do have something like over 30 points together, the opener and responder can and should take their time bidding back and forth, talking about what they have, because it's the way to discover the best contract. Maybe it's not enough just to play in game. Maybe we should be in slam. The opener and responder want to find the best scoring contract. And it usually takes us, honestly, a couple of years to learn all these things. And one of those things that we're going to insert here is that when a responder has 13 points or more, the partnership definitely has 25 points because opener started with 12 to 20 points. But it's also possible that the partnership might have slam because opener started with 12 to 20 points. So let's just say that again. When a responder has 13 responding points, responder does not know whether opener's range is just 12, which would get them to 25, or whether opener really has closer to 20 points, which would get them to that 33 slam number. There's no way for a responder to know whether opener has 12 points or 20 points or in between. And so therefore, when a responder has 13 responding points or more, we know we have at least 25. The question is, do we have 33 for slam? So a responder needs to force another bid out of opener to find out. Responder needs a way to bid that will force opener to take yet another bid, an opener's rebid. Because when an opener takes a second bid, the opener's second bid will show whether opener is closer to 12 points or closer to 20 points. And if opener's second bid says, we have really only 12-ish points, well, then all the partnership has is that 25-point game. But if opener's second bid shows something closer to 20 points, then responder knows the partnership has closer to 33 points, slam. So what responder needs to do with 13 points in the responding hand and a fit for opener is to force opener to take another bid. How does responder force an opener to take another bid? Bidding a new suit. When a responder bids a brand new suit, It is forcing for opener for one more turn. And then responder, by changing to a new suit, will force opener to say more about the opening hand. So let's see this in action. And I'm going to look at board 13 in your packet. Now I'm going to remind you, we are just opening the door, just opening the door on this concept. We are not expecting to be experts here at all. I just want you to start to see possibilities. Let's take a look at North's hand. North has 13 high card points. So that's 12 to 20, right? North has a 5-card or longer major suit, hearts. North's first bid is 1 heart. So far, so good. East has 7 high card points. That is not enough for an overcall, so East will pass. South, let's look at your hand. You have at least 3 heart cards. You know there is a fit, right? So we have a heart fit. South, you look for distribution, but you don't have any. But South, you have 14 responding points. That is a maximum game-going responding point count opposite North's 12 to 20. We call it game-going because North has at least 12 opening points. You have at least 13. The partnership has at least 25 points. But South does not know whether North has just 12 high card points or whether North's opening hand has 20 high card points or somewhere in between. So South, you want to find out, does North have closer to 12 points or closer to 20 points? South, if you bid 2 hearts here, you're promising 6 to 9 points, aren't you? That's not helpful. Your partner, the opener, might just pass you then if she has a bare 12, 13, 14 points. You should not bid 3 hearts here, South. That would promise 10, 11, or 12 points. Opener can pass that bid. If opener has only, say, 12 opening points, opener's not going to bid higher than your 3 hearts. No. And you should not jump to 4 hearts. If you jump to game right away, in bridge, the responder's jump to game in a suit is called a closeout bid. You would be telling opener to absolutely stop the auction dead. That is what a 4-heart bid means here. It doesn't mean I have strength. It doesn't. It actually means I have weakness. We have not learned that bid yet, but 1 heart by North and 4 hearts by South does not show interest in a slam. It says this auction's over right now. So, South, you should not bid 4 hearts. Instead, let's tease more information out of North's opening hand. And the only way that a responder can force an opener bid to bid again is for a responder to change to a new suit. Force opener to find a second bid and hear more about opener's point count. So what can South bid? In what way on this hand could South change the auction, bidding a new suit that is reasonable? Well, I think South can make a 1 spade response. By changing the auction to 1 spade, South is promising 4 or more spade cards and 6 or more high card points. South is telling the truth. We never fib using major suits. This is just like the 4-4 major suit fit. When responder changes to a new suit, hoping for a fit in the new suit. Because South's change of suit is showing 6 or more high card points, South is not showing an upper point limit. South is showing 6 points or more, could be any amount. That's the reason why North has to bid again, because North has to allow the auction to go back to South's responding hand in case South was sitting on 20 responding points. Needs to give responder another chance in the auction. So North must bid again when responder changes to a new suit. Okay? What is North going to bid as a rebid here? North has to find a bid. Now, if North had 4 spade cards to go with South's 4 spade cards, North would be thinking to herself, well, we have a spade fit. And North would use the opener ranges and bid some level of spades. But North does not have 4 spade cards, correct? Okay, so what will North do instead? And this may be new information, but you'll hear it again and again. An opener is allowed to bid the opening suit again when we haven't found a fit if the opener has 6 or more cards in the opening suit. That could be a major suit, it could be a minor suit. 6 or more cards in a major suit allows the opener to bid that opening suit again when no fit has already been found. It shows extra length. It shows 6 or more cards because your partner will often have 2 cards in that suit. And if you're showing 6 cards and your partner has 2 cards, the partnership might actually still find an 8-card fit. So North, you don't have 4 spade cards to go with South, right? You have 6 cards in the original opening suit, hearts. You may rebid the heart suit now to show 6 or more cards, hoping that South has 2 heart cards. Because again, you don't know that South already has a fit for you. You don't add distribution, North. You don't know if there's a fit in hearts. If you have 12 to 15 minimum high card points, you bid your hearts again as cheaply as possible. If you have medium or better high card points, you would jump to 3 hearts. So 12 to 15, you would bid 2 hearts. 16 or more, North, you would bid 3 hearts. And that's how you're telling responder, are you closer to 12 points or are you closing in higher to 20-ish points? So North, you have 6 or more hearts and you have the minimum 12 to 15 high card points. You rebid your hearts as cheaply as you can on the 2 level, 2 hearts. And after East passes, South says, okay. North did not jump when she rebid her hearts. She bid hearts as cheaply as she could in the opening hand. So she has at the lower end of 12 to 20 points, 12, 13, 14, maybe 15 points, didn't jump. And if that's true, my responding hand with 14 total points and North's 12 to 15 points means we don't have anywhere near 33 points. We're not going to have a slam. All we've got is a game. And South, since you know there's a game and only game, get there, 4 hearts. So this was hard new stuff, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Now, we're not going to worry so much about these 13 points right away. I'm showing it to you so that when you hear it again, it might not sound quite so foreign, and we will come back to this concept. It's important. But what I want you to know is that there's some takeaways here at this point that you should try and wrap your head around, and they include these kinds of things. An opener needs 12 to 20 high card points and 5 cards or more in a major suit to open 1 heart or 1 spade. A responder needs 3 cards in that same major suit to know they have a fit. Responder will add distribution before making the first responding bid. We have the usual distribution numbers, but now we're going to remember not to add anything extra for queen doubletons or jack doubletons and nothing extra for king, queen, or jack singletons. And then responder makes a first responding bid. With 6 to 9 total points, we raise to the 2 level. That's not new. We've been doing that for a long time now. If responder has 10 to 12 points, responder is going to raise to the invitational 3 level, 3 hearts or 3 spades. That's not new. But if responder has 13 or more points, we're going to bid a brand new suit. And we need more time to talk about this in the future. I simply want to put it out there. Okay? Now, when responder does make a first response, what will opener do? Well, opener will know there's a fit and will add distribution exactly the same way that responder used distribution. And now opener is going to make a second bid. Did the responder bid 2 hearts or 2 spades, just showing 6 to 9 points with a responding fit? Great. Opener, your second bid will be based on your opener point ranges. Opposite responder, 6 to 9 points. Did the responder instead jump to the 3 level, 3 hearts or 3 spades, showing 10 to 12 points? That's where the opener should, instead of using the opener ranges, Think about math. Add responders 10 to 12 points to your opening points. Do you have 25 points? Get to game if you do. And finally, the new thing. Did responder change to a new suit? Well, we're going to have to talk a whole lot more about this. And one of the things we're going to discuss is that an opener can rebid the opening suit if there's no fit with whatever responder says. Opener can bid the opening suit again with 6 or more cards. Not jumping with only 12 to 15 points, or jumping with 13 or more points, 16 or more points, in the opening hand. Right now, the goal is to find a major suit fit and to find game if we have it. And that's what we're looking for right now. So do all of the exercises in the packet. Email me if you have questions, and we will go over this again and practice this together in class. All right? Bye now.